when you're starting to build your own home, there's lots that you don't really know. And you find that when you get into the process, there's a gap between where it is that you are and what it is that you need to know as you go through. So today we're joined by Muzala, interior designer, just to help us look at her perspective of the home building process. This podcast is brought to you by Emote Projects Limited. The podcast is for educational purposes only. Seek professional advice to get specific help for your project. Enjoy this week's show. Welcome to an architect and a DJ Build a Home podcast. It's Women's Month and I'm on my own. The DJ's not with me, but we have a guest. We have a guest with us and we're so happy to have Muzala on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being our guest today. And since it's Women's Month, we'll just start with, when you think about being a woman, when you think about what you bring into spaces, into your work, what is the most awesome thing about you and where you are and your experience as a woman?
Oh, quite a number. But I think one thing off the top of my head is just seeing how, obviously relating it to being a woman, seeing how many young women are thriving in their businesses and taking risk and taking up spaces. I mean, most of our clients have been women, young women, young business owners. So it's been nice to work with them and just see how much they're going for their dreams and just achieving what they want to do. So it's been nice. Yeah. To see a smile on their face when they walk into a space that has been transformed into what they were expecting and what they wanted. Yeah, that has been fulfilling.
Yeah, so helping women thrive.
Of course, yeah.
That's great. So today we're talking about the work that you do. Perhaps we could start with just introducing you, the work that you do.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yes, my name is Muzala.
Yeah.
Others know me as MJ as well, the space stylist. I am an interior designer with a background in quantity surveying.
Yeah.
So I have known construction pretty much most of my life because I've even seen it from, family. So I decided to take up interior design because I felt there was a gap in how clients' expectations were being interpreted in their designs, in their spaces. So with my, educational background and experience, I decided to jump in on it.
Yeah. So we're talking to a female powerhouse here. So our audience are first-time home builders. They're embarking on the journey. Perhaps they're in the process, and I just wanted to hear, like, in the jobs that you do for people who are building their homes, because you've mentioned that you do commercial work, but you do also have clients who are doing their homes. At what point do you come into the process, and what do you do exactly to help the home builder achieve what they want?
Ideally with interior designing, I mean, I think here in Zambia, it's quite new. Yeah. So people are now getting to know the importance of having an interior designer on board. Yeah. So with the projects that we have now, I think we've been brought on board, I would say quite late, but not too late. Yeah. Because ideally an interior designer is supposed to be brought on board at the beginning because they are more of your consultant and they help you figure out and just narrow down what you want in your building. Because, as a client, you see ideas on Pinterest, you see ideas in a magazine, and you want all those ideas. But to have a professional that will actually sit down with you and just narrow down and put your design brief together, that kind of helps. Yeah. So it has been good, but challenging in the fact that on 2 projects, we've had to sort of redo some of the works. Yeah. Because they were not quite what the client wanted, but they were done already. And then the client is here, like, no, but this is what I want done. Is there any way we could try and change this? Yeah. So that already is a cost implication because now something's already done and you have to bring it down. And also just time.
Yeah.
It takes time away from the project time, so you have to redo it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned that ideally you should start at the beginning. So
At the beginning.
where's the beginning? Because when you start, you have an architect. So when I used to practice, it would be, okay, I meet with the client. I meet with the client. I understand what it is they want. I start getting their ideas and looking at the site, looking at the regulations. How are all these things going to come? What is it that they want? Then we start the design process. So at what point would it be ideal for you as an interior designer to come in so that you give the best value to your clients?
I would say just before even I think the architect comes in, because it sort of helps give a design brief that will enable the architect to actually work better and interpret the design better and the drawings better. Because, a client will say, I want a marble wall, I want a what, I want a what, I want a what. But then even in their mind, maybe they don't even have the budget to do that.
Yeah.
They don't even know where to source those materials.
Yeah.
So I think I would say when the thought comes in to build, I think it's just best to even just consult and say, okay, I'm thinking of building a house. Can I have this? Can I have this? Can I have this? Put it together and then give it to the architect so you don't have to keep going back and forth with the architect. Like, no, you didn't do this. I want this. I want that. At least you have it in mind that, okay, this is what I want and this is what I expect to be done.
So it's like getting help of the end before we come. So having a more collaborative process with the different professionals. Okay, so from your experience, what areas do you see that once you've gotten into the process, what areas create difficulty for you to do your job, where you are seeing that the owner is kind of like struggling with this process, or maybe there are things that they don't know that they needed to know before they started? What sort of mistakes or things that do you see?
I'm not bashing any profession, but I think, like I said, I think most people don't really realize the importance of these professionals on a project, on a construction project, right? I'll even take it back to even from my previous background, quantity surveying.
Yeah.
And that is a very vital role that saves you cost on a project and it helps manage your project. But some people forgo those things. Even just consulting with an architect, yes, you get the designs, but then you just run with it without consulting. And then you just say, you give it to the builder and just say, I want this done. Yeah. But in that process, a builder will just build what they see on paper without actually taking into account all these different aspects that make this building come to life. Yeah. So it's important that they actually engage all professionals and all consultants. Yes, it's going to cost you a little bit of money, but it will definitely save you money in the long run and time and deliver on what exactly you want. Yeah. Yeah.
So to make it practical, what sort of mistakes have been on the projects where somebody has had to spend money because something hasn't been done right?
Number one, foundations. Oh my goodness. There's certain things like a DPC, DPM. Some of those things,
waterproofing.
Waterproofing for the foundation, to stop the water from going up to the walls. As a client, obviously, you won't really know all those things, that they're supposed to be all those nitty-gritty things, which are very vital in your foundation. You just see the foundation come up and the next thing is the walls. And yet it was left out. And then now you have walls and everything. You're about to move into your house and then you start seeing moisture, you start seeing mold, you start seeing all those things. Yeah. And then what do? Because it's in the foundation. You have to go back to the foundation, which is, again, more money. So there's all those aspects that you can avoid if you get the right help from the beginning.
From the beginning. Yeah. So you're ready to advise, okay, let's start with painting and whatnot, and then you see these.
Trust me. Yes. No, it's even just workmanship. I mean, it's a lot. As a client, you're busy with other things. You're not going to sit on a site to make sure that work is being done properly. So you really need to get someone who knows and understands the construction processes to help you with that.
Yeah. So one of the things we talk about, and we've talked about it quite quite a bit in this episode that we've started is creating a unique home.
Yes. Yes.
And what that actually means. What it actually means. And I think we are looking at it from different angles, and I wanted to hear your viewpoint on how would you advise what would you advise someone to do to make sure that what they do get is a reflection of who they are as a family. It's not necessarily a reflection of a magazine style or a Pinterest board.
Of course.
It's a reflection. Once I step into this person's home, I'm able to see the character and the identity of this person. So from an interior designer's point of view, what would you advise the steps that somebody can take to make sure that they get that result and not a wannabe, a Pinterest wannabe home?
That's true. I mean, like you said it, a home or every space that you occupy must obviously be a reflection of the people that live in the space.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter even if you're renting or it's your own home. And moreover, if it's going to be your home, you want it to speak to you. You want people, the minute they walk in, they're able to see, okay, so-and-so lives in this space. I can feel, their presence in this space.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that people really need to do, like I said, engage a professional because they help guide you. I mean, there's so many design styles out there. And there's so many things in the shops. And I know people will want to impulse buy, especially if you're going to, furnish your home. So you see something nice, you're going to get that, you see something nice. And sometimes, you buy things because of how you feel in that moment, not really taking into account, is this thing going to work for me long term? Is it still going to speak to my style? Is it going to speak to what I want to do? I mean, even stuff from as small as a doorknob can speak to your style. So someone can easily tell, okay, you know what, this person has this well thought design in their home. You don't want to just pick stuff that is, oh, I like this, I like that, I like this. Get someone who's going to help you put all that together and say, okay, you know what, this is actually your style. And I know sometimes it's a bit confusing because you're creating a space that is yours, but you like all these things. Sometimes, you pick from different design styles and it's a mess. It's like an interior mess. So get the right help. I mean, consult. Take time. Put it on a Pinterest board if it makes sense. I mean, the internet is there. Do some research, but always take time to consult and put your styles together and see if it makes sense.
So as a parting thought, what advice would you give to somebody who's starting to build their home, starting to take this journey? What advice, what nuggets of wisdom can you give on how to do it well and how to get to the end in a way that they'll be happy with? Not in a way that they'll be limping. They'll be like, we'll never do this again.
And that's the stories we hear. People start on this journey very excited, and then halfway through, like, you know what, I regret doing this. Building your home should not be like that. It should be a happy process. Yes, there are going to be a few bumps in the road, few unexpected expenses. But it's part of the journey. You need to have, again, emphasize, you need to have the right professionals to help you, to guide you through this. If you're going to embark on a building journey and you don't have that construction knowledge or background, consult. Get someone that is going to walk with you on this journey. I mean, there's certain things that are going to come up that you might not even understand and end up spending money on when you could have done it another way. So always get the right help. Get an interior designer. Consult, because not only, I know people think interior designing is just the decor finishes of the home, and it's actually far from that. It's the designing part as well. So you design different aspects of the home, from how, what color paint, how the windows should be positioned. There's all those things. Just going back to one home where we walked in, we're going to do some work. And the windows were actually built on the wrong direction, you know. And this bedroom had so much sunlight coming in, and it was quite difficult to even place the bed. So there's stuff like that that you want to avoid, you know, from the onset. So building your home should be a happy process, an exciting process. It's going to take long, sometimes, you know, if the budget is not always there. But with the right help, you definitely save costs. You save time. And you save the headache of using tradesmen on site, because guys, I know the headaches I've had to deal with bricklayers, plumbers, electricians, and all those things. So get someone who's going to drive that team in the direction of what you want to see.
Muzala, we are so grateful that you have shared your wisdom. Yes, and thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful time.
We shall see you soon.
An Architect and a DJ Build a Home podcast has been brought to you by Emote Projects Limited. The show is hosted by Kalenga, he's the DJ, and me, Mphangela, I'm the architect. Media by Monkey Business Agency. Music by Bless the Creative.